Afternoon, everyone, and it gives me great pleasure as Warden of Essex County and the Mayor of the town of Tecumseh to welcome Premier Ford to what we advanced manufacturing at its best here in Oldcastle, which is part of our great community here. Premier, I want to first of all say thank you. And I'll be quite honest, 4 years ago, when you took government in hand, I didn't know what to expect. But I can tell you after 4 years, you told us 4 years ago that you would take us to the next level in the hospital. Check. You told us that you're going to extend and expand Highway number 3. Check. You told us that Ontario would be open for business. And there's a great big check there. It's called $5 billion for Windsor Essex, and we can't thank you enough for your leadership. But most importantly, how you led us through 2.5 years into a pandemic, and to have the province come out with showing bright lights at the end of the tunnel. And we know, and to your motto, get it done, you're going to get it done, you've gotten it done, and you're going to get it done some more. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Andrew Dowie. Andrew has been a member of Tecumseh Council for 8 years. And in those 8 years, I can tell you, Councillor Dowie has been one of the most hardworking councillors anywhere in the province of Ontario. He's been dedicated to this community, but not only for the town itself, but he's a big picture individual. Not afraid to get a bloody nose, to get in the trenches, but also he's there with compassion, respect, and he delivers. Mr. Premier, I can tell you that you're going to end up getting a first rate, one of your top MPPs in your caucus will be Andrew Dowie. I assure you of that, because I know what he's done for our community. So with that, Mr. Premier, welcome to the town of Tecumseh. Welcome to Essex County one more time. And the last thing I want to share with you, Premier, is the fact that maybe on July 2nd, you can give up the de facto MPP for this region and hand it over to Andrew Dowie, because he's going to be your guy. So with that, again, thank you so much for everything you've done in the last 4 years, for your leadership, and looking forward for 4 more years.
That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, thank you, Warden. And before I officially thank the Warden and the Mayor and Andrew, I want to thank the folks at Lavelle. I want to thank John for having us here. What a great team of women and men. Thank you very much. And we're just going to continue building. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Warden McNamara, for your very kind introduction and for your endorsement. It's great to also be joined by my good friend, Mayor Drew Dilkins. Both of you are absolute champions for their communities. I've always said, when you listen to the people who live and breathe their communities, like Warden McNamara and Mayor Dilkins do, that's where you get the best ideas. I'm also honored to have their full support, and I look forward to continuing our strong relationship and partnership as we get it done right here for Windsor Essex. I also want to give a big shout out to Andrew Dowie, one of our all-star candidates right here in Windsor Essex. Andrew, thank you. Thank you for going out there day after day. He's been out on the doorsteps talking to voters. He's telling me he's feeling the real energy and optimism, and I feel it too. And he's telling me that our message is resonating. Every day, more and more people are lining up behind our vision, our plan to build Ontario. Labor unions and blue-collar workers, drivers and transit riders, seniors and young families, every region of Ontario, including right here in Windsor, Essex. Never in my lifetime has a party appealed to so many people. That's because we're the only party with a positive plan. We're the only party saying yes. Yes to rebuilding Ontario's auto sector by investing in electric vehicles and the batteries that power them. Over the past 18 months, we've secured over $14 billion in new investments from major auto manufacturers, including, as the warden said, including more than $5 billion from LG and Stellantis to build Canada's first large-scale electric vehicle battery plant right here in Windsor, Essex, and $3.6 billion to secure a third shift at Stellantis, which is great. We're saying yes to 5 new transmission lines to Windsor and southwestern Ontario, so nothing stops your incredible economic growth. We're saying yes to expanding Highway 3 by doubling the number of lanes between Leamington and Essex. Yes to finally delivering the Windsor-Essex new hospital. That's a big one too. We're saying yes to getting more workers into the skilled trades and manufacturing jobs. Yes to keeping costs down by scrapping the license plate sticker fees and cutting the gas tax. And we're saying yes to building 1.5 million new homes over the next 10 years so more families can live in growing communities like Windsor, Essex. Friends, make no mistake, Ontario's best days are ahead, especially right here in Windsor, Essex. But it's up to us, up to each and every one of us to roll up our sleeves, to get to work and get it done. This is the choice we face on June the 2nd. It's a very clear choice. If you want excuses, if you want more delays and more empty talk, well, you got a lot of options in this election. But if you want to get it done, you have one choice, the Ontario PCs. We're ready to get it done, but we can't do it alone. It's time for Windsor Essex to have a seat at the table. And I can't stress that enough, folks. We need a voice at the table. It's time to send Andrew Dowie and our great Windsor Region candidates to Queen's Park. I know it, Mayor Dilkins knows it, and Warden McNamara knows it. It's time to paint Windsor Essex blue in 22. Friends, we have the team, we have the vision, and we have the plan, and we have the momentum. So on June the 2nd, everybody, let's do it. Let's get it done. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much.
Take questions at the mic. If you could just line up at the microphone, one question, one follow-up. Hi, Mr. Ford. Holly Mackenzie-Suter with Canadian Press. Yeah, you came to Ottawa today for the first time during the election, but why did you go all the way there and not visit the hardest hit storm sites where people are still struggling in the aftermath of the storm?
Well, I'll tell you what we did do. I didn't go there for a photo op like the other candidates, or one candidate, that's for sure. But I'll tell you what we did do. I was on the phone every single day with the CEO of Ontario Hydro, every single day with Hydro Ottawa. We reached out to every other hydro utility folks out there. We shifted other provinces to roll in to Ottawa to support them. We made sure, even right down to Toronto Hydro coming in, U.S. states were helping us out. And then we'll always have the backs of the people of Ottawa. You know, I just want to remind you that, you know, we ended up getting the largest, second largest in Canadian history hospital built there to make sure that we support them. We are always going to have their backs, and I'll continue to work for the people of Ottawa like we're working for the people of Windsor.
Yeah, thanks. And on the topic of the storm, I mean, I think I asked you about this last week too. Like with climate change, we know these are going to be more frequent. Like Ontario is seeing the impacts of climate change more and more with the wildfire season we had last year, but your platform doesn't really have a lot in terms of climate mitigation or environment plans, and you're kind of campaigning on putting more cars on the road with the highways. So I'm just wondering kind of if you're comfortable, you know, thinking about decades from now as climate change gets worse, if you're going to be satisfied with if you did enough as Premier, or if you're reelected this time to confront this crisis.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your question again. I'm going to really disagree with you on one point, that we aren't doing enough. We're actually doing more than any government in the history of Ontario. We're putting billions of dollars into electric vehicles, specifically right here in Windsor, Essex, supporting the LG investment along with Stellantis. All 5 auto companies are now going to start producing electric vehicles. We took 1 million cars off the road by investing into electric arc furnaces in Dofasco and Hamilton and Sault Ste. Marie, over at Algoma. We're going to continue focusing on the environment. We have about 94% clean energy. I won't be happy until we hit 100%, but we're going to focus on that as much as we possibly can. And as for getting people out of the cars, we put the largest transit investment in not only the Toronto GTA, but the GO train service around Ontario. We're sending it into London for the first time. We're trying to get people out of the cars. But let's keep in mind, 80% of the people drive. They're going to continue to drive, and that's why we're focusing on putting electric cars on the road, cars of the future, and that's how we're going to make sure that we have a clean environment.
Premier, can you tell us, clarify the situation with LG Chem plant, that whether it's coming or not, what you know about it. Also, if you can respond to Stephen Del Duca today, he was laying the blame at your feet for not having the power here for the plant, and he's saying that he wants the IESO to launch an investigation into some warnings that the province got back in 2019 and that you ignored them, that there wouldn't be a shortage.
Well, thank you for that, and I find it pretty ironic coming from Stephen Del Duca, part of the Del Duca Win Liberals that drove 300,000 jobs out of this province. And looking at the auto sector, they decimated Windsor, they decimated Oshawa and Oakville. They were all leaving. All the auto manufacturers are leaving. Now they came back and invested $14 billion. And as for the grid, we invested $1 billion. We're doing that on 5 transmission lines coming here. But boy, I'll tell you, that's pretty rich of Del Duca Win Liberals to talk about energy, as they drove up energy costs, the highest in North America, and drove every single company out of this province. We're bringing back companies. We're bringing employment back. And as I always say, when we got elected, there was 300,000 jobs left this province. These are people that couldn't put food on the tables, couldn't pay the rent, couldn't pay their mortgage. As we move forward, as we're standing here today, there's 550,000 more people working right now today, and we have 340,000 jobs in the waiting for people who need them. All I need here in Ontario, I need more people to fill the 340,000 jobs. And I just want to, again, thank the municipalities for working collaboratively with us, the federal government and the province. Right now, the economy is just humming here in not only Windsor-Essex, but right across Ontario.
Do you have any kind of word on the LG Chem plant? Is there anything decisive that you've heard of, or yes or no?
I haven't heard any decisive information. We'll hear more over the next week or two. But what I can tell you, we're going to do everything we can to attract LG again. As they did the largest investment of $5 billion here in Canadian history, we'll continue to work with them and just keep moving forward.
Any other questions?
Yeah, sorry. Hey, I just wanted to follow up about the storm visit. I mean, I know you've said you're trying not to do a photo op and politic there, but you are the premier and people are really suffering. Like, don't you think the residents of Ottawa kind of wanted to see you and hear from you actually visiting and acknowledging what they went through with the storm?
Well, I'll tell you again what we did. I was on the phone around the clock. Feel free to talk to the CEO of Hydro One, pulling utility folks from all over the country, no matter if it was New Brunswick or Nova Scotia or down in the U.S., New York State, on the phone with them constantly. We had our ministries on full alert. We sent people from the Ministry of Natural Resources. We sent firefighters there. I want them to get the job done, which they did. It was 99% up and going. So I'm very, very proud and very thankful for all the hardworking utility folks that worked around the clock, took off their long weekend, and showed the Ontario spirit.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Working hard every day, we got the heart to find a way. Nobody said it was an easy road, and we won't stop. We don't ever fold. We got big, big dreams, so you gotta believe in someone you trust to make them real. With one good plan, a future to build. Now it's up to you and me.